Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for another episode of A New Go of New Home Sales. I'm your host, Anya Chrysanthemum.
Hello, I'm John Lee.
And joining us today is Mert Karakus. Mert is founder and CEO of Oda Studio. So Mert, welcome to the show. So excited to have you on today.
Thank you, Anya. Pleasure to be here. Thank you to you and John.
Yeah, so before we jump in, we would love to hear your story of who you are and what is it that you do now?
Yeah, so I am one of the co-founders, three co-founders of Oda Studio. I've been working on Oda Studio for about 3.5 to 4 years now. And Oda started at MIT when I and my co-founders were grad students there at the time, about 4 years ago. So Oda is a photo management and virtual staging solution for real estate. Oda uses artificial intelligence, particularly the computer vision aspect of artificial intelligence and CGI to automatically process information from photos. And by that, I mean identify the space that is shown on a real estate photo, identify the objects that are shown on a photo, and then make automatic aesthetic and technical corrections to a photo. This includes things like upgrading the resolution, upgrading the lighting, colors, all of that. And then ultimately virtually staging a photo. So rather than carrying furniture around physically, we can actually add or take out furniture and other decorative items from a picture. And the whole point of our solution is essentially using AI and CGI to help different real estate businesses, multifamily managers, builders, brokerages, help them with organizing their photo libraries, but then also personalize these photos so that the visuals themselves are more appealing to their prospective buyers, prospective renters, etc.
For sure. It's so important to have your best foot forward. What type of a client would be perfect for this?
Yeah, so we are seeing interest from, builders, like all different kinds of profiles, like because of the visual aspect of our technology and because of how important the visuals are, as you said, to the sales and marketing process. They are definitely fascinated with the application here. And we do have small size builders, production builders that are interested in using our services for getting their pictures out more quickly. And then we have large, some of the top 10 builders interested in our services that are currently piloting as well. Ultimately, the cost-cutting aspect is definitely huge. What we are hearing from folks is because of the current state of the market, especially, they definitely want to be able to reduce the costs of photography. A lot of builders out there are hiring photographers to actually send to their spec homes and take pictures. Coordination of that is very challenging, right? Like when you have a giant portfolio of homes, to be able to send a photographer to each one of them, it's almost an impossible task. Similarly, so that aspect is both expensive and also time consuming. And there are also other advantages of relying on photos. Photos are pretty effective visual tools. They only take a few seconds to capture the attention of a home buyer. So it is super effective, and it is far cheaper. They can take their own photos, then they can use our services to upgrade it, personalize the pictures, right? So all of that really, I think, right now makes it a good time for builders to use our solution, actually, and that's the kind of feedback that we've been getting. I think as more inventory is being built up, as we hear from the market nowadays, and they are becoming more cost conscious, our pretty cost-effective solution that is focused on increasing conversion to automatic editing of photos becomes definitely quite popular.
I'm just dying to know, how did you come up with the name Oda Studio? Is there some meaning behind that?
Yeah, so I guess I didn't get into that during my background, but I am originally from Turkey. And I've been in the States for 15, 16 years now, but I'm originally from Turkey. And my two co-founders are also Turkish. We did not know each other prior to MIT. We all met at MIT, but we are all Turkish. And Oda in Turkish means room. So in essence,
Room. Okay.
it's like room studio. Yeah. So we love the name Oda. It's short. It is quite memorable, but and it touches upon our I guess heritage. And on top of that, um, we are all data guys at the end, right? And there is an aspect of Oda Studio being obviously a studio, a virtual studio for staging and editing your visuals. But on top of that, there's a lot of information, visual information being gathered. So we are also like a data room in a way. So both of those aspects were quite resonating with us when we came up with the name.
We actually have a lot in common because I also came from MIT. I was made in Taiwan. So I immigrated here as well, not as prestigious as you, but actually, you're actually a man after my own heart in a sense, because it's very unusual to find someone that loves visualizations. Like, when I first started my company as Rendering House back in 2001, it was all about creating visualizations for the new home industry because the homes don't exist. But I also have a love for data and analytics because I used to be a financial analyst before then. And then when we renamed ourselves as Inugo, as a software company, all those visualizations, all that engagement, kicked off a lot of data. And that data just provides great analytics for lead generation,
Absolutely.
So it's interesting how, you came from the other end, more from the MIT end. And you're able to converge on the visualization part. Yeah. What was the aha moment that got you involved in this niche industry? Because there's not too many people like you and me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, exactly. That is always surprising to us. And you bring up MIT a lot, but we are like one of the few MIT technologists, I would say, that is working on this problem.
I bet you're the only ones in our industry that's working on this problem for MIT.
We are not as cool as those who are building rockets and nuclear reactors or autonomous vehicles, I suppose. But ultimately, there was something that was quite resonating with us about this from the very beginning. Before starting MIT, I worked as an economist and consultant, and what I focused on was housing market. And something that I spent a lot of time on was automated valuation models. And one of the big shortcomings of automated valuation models was always that they relied on only a very few number of data points, right? The address, the number of bedrooms, and the type of home. But there's so much more information about a home that you don't get through those few data points. And visuals were actually quite helpful. And it's sort of what we wanted to focus on at the beginning. We wanted to see if we could gather information from home photos that could be then utilized for doing more accurate, coming up with more accurate automated valuation models. And our CTO, Ege, he is a
CTO is the Chief Technology Officer for some people.
Chief Technology Officer.
When we start throwing out acronyms, I know we may start losing
it might mean different things.
We talk about AI and ML and CGI. So I want to kind of temper that a little bit because I came from the same thing, cloud rendering engines. Okay. CTO. Okay.
CTO, yes, our Chief Technology Officer. So he's our AI expert because at MIT he has done a lot of work on autonomous driving and computer vision. But prior to MIT, he was actually an architect by training. So
wow.
So he brings that architecture background to all of this. And since you have been super into visualization and rendering yourself, I mean there's just so much that can be done there, right? There's the applications there are really endless. I mean the spaces that we live in, we work in, we spend so much time just organizing and making decisions to purchase or rent them and renovating, and our needs change over time, right? And visuals are fantastic tools to help us imagine, help us get more information that is not readily available through existing data points, and also get that information pretty quickly.
I always say that in our industry and just as human beings, we speak two different languages. The builders, they speak all the jargon, the real estate terms, all the CAD files, all the basically textual data stuff. But the buyers, they don't understand all those jargons and terms, but they know what they like when they see it. They speak visually. And so us as tech people have to be that visual translator to be able to translate, builder speak into buyer speak, and then buyer speak back to builder speak. And, I know we're doing it through using a cloud rendering engine to translate all that. You're using it through even higher levels of computer vision and machine language and all that processing. If you want to highlight that at a very high level, just so people can understand that. And then you can probably talk about your products again, how that's utilized in image enhancement and then virtual staging.
Your rendering technology, I mean, you're kind of downplaying it, but that's a fantastic tool that you have, and it has that engine that is powerful, right? Like it can help people visualize homes before they are even built. So
right.
So there's something in there that is essential to a human need to be able to visualize, right? That's how we can relate better, how we can evaluate better, how we can be more informed. If somebody goes through Zillow and I don't know, like some other listing platform, they can say, oh yeah, like look at all these photos, right? Like clearly this is already being recognized by the industry. But there's so much work that is being done manually to make that happen, right? Like people are hiring photographers to take those pictures, and then these photographers are spending hours editing those photos. When you take those photos, it's not done. And then you have the Matterports or other visualization services, the rendering services. So all of that actually rely upon either tons of manual work and manual talent, or there are other there are expensive services that you have to pay for. So ultimately the problem that the reason we are really utilizing AI here is to be able to really streamline that process. And by streamlining the process, I mean two different things there. One is being able to evaluate a photo, evaluate the needs of a photo, and this can be aesthetic, technical, it could be the low resolution, the angles, the perspective of the photo might be off. To be able to evaluate all of that automatically and then correct it automatically, it saves tons of time, right? And it saves tons of time, but it also all of a sudden kind of makes it far more accessible too. Now, all of a sudden, hey, maybe you don't need to wait for a week or like a few days for a photographer to free up. You could take your photos with your smartphone and then use this technology to get them to the same quality, right? So AI is definitely powerful there in terms of helping a far larger number of users to all of a sudden have access to the same kind of visual marketing that you might observe on, as I said, like Zillow or similar sites as being mainstream. It's only mainstream because people are spending a lot of resources to make it so, right? But we definitely, I think we are making it far more accessible and faster and cost effective there, right? So those are the differences that we are bringing there. And when it comes to virtual staging part, that what I said so far was the first aspect of how we are using AI, artificial intelligence. The second aspect is, okay, you talked about it, right? What do users or prospects ultimately like? Does the prospect ultimately like to, see their home furnished with modern furniture? And are they coming in with a large family, or are they, a young married couple? Are they a single person working from home? These are completely different individuals. Their needs for the same space are totally different. To be able to evaluate that and then to be able to give them visuals that reflect their living preferences, their living profile, is the key to then, being able to grab the attention of that particular prospect, right? So this is the second, and in my opinion, far more powerful way we are using AI here, really to be able to quickly take the same space, take the same image, but, reimagine that space from the perspective of a particular individual so that they can relate to it. They can relate to it as their home. They can relate to it as their workspace. That is really a powerful thing that AI is making possible, which wasn't possible until recently.
And then you're capturing that data, so now you know how to furnish that apartment, or know how to market to someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is possible to then know, hey, which of these images actually get more interest, and this can change from geography to geography, right? Like it can change. It can definitely vary a lot. We see this a lot actually because we have customers in different parts of the US, and we have international customers as well. In the US, especially in California, like people like their photos to be really bright and airy. But when you go to some other parts of the world, hey, they like more warmth. You know, they like the photo to look cozier. So it's a totally different style, different preference, and to be able to detect that and then match that is definitely the power of AI and data there, right? To understand, okay, which of the photos are getting most interest from the prospective buyers. That's definitely how this solution all of a sudden becomes a powerful marketing solution and not just some automated photo editing gadget.
That's incredible. So what I'm hearing is you don't even need an expensive photographer. You can just go take photos on your smartphone. And then I guess the way regular humans think about this is like, it's almost like an Instagram filter that suddenly your photo looks 10 times better. Like, look at me, I can be on camera today, right? With the filter, so except it's for your homes.
And I have an appreciation for this part because, I've early on when we're doing as company Rendering House, we did a lot of like photo editing and stuff. And, we do have a lot of great filters on our phone for social media and, how you take a great selfie, but we don't necessarily know how to best show off a room. Perspective, scale, distance, contrast, lighting, shadows, furnishings. Those are things that's not really easy for the average person to adjust. And I'm just amazed at how fast you can process this and at the cost. I mean, you're talking about 70 cents per image enhancement of, a room, and then only like $18 or so for virtual staging of an unfinished space. I mean, that's remarkably affordable. I wouldn't say, I was almost gonna say cheap, but it's such a great quality. It's remarkably affordable and it's so easy. And if you factor in the cost savings and the quality levels, I think it's a win-win for the buyers and the sellers.
Absolutely. And there's a reason people do use Instagram filters, right? I mean, they are attractive. And when it comes to a property, unfortunately, it is far more challenging to fix a property photo versus the photo of your profile. And that's because, with a property, you have light coming from different angles. You have windows and you have other light sources, and some parts of the room are darker or there are too many colors. So yeah, I mean, 75 cents per photo, that's what we do, right? We fix all of that. And the photos tend to be, when you take it with your phone, especially if you don't have the super good photography skills, the angle might be off a bit, the perspective might be off. We can fix that geometry. And I think one thing that you mentioned there is, hey, like people also don't necessarily know where is the best spot to take the photo from in the room, right?
Perspective makes all the difference. I mean, we can make something look fantastic if you take it from the right angle with the right lighting and the right texture and finishes. I mean, you got all the different textures and finishes in your room, from marble to glass to hardwood. Right. It makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. And one of the upcoming models that we have, actually, again using artificial intelligence, is looking at a series of pictures and then picking the best one from all the elements that you just described, right? So all of that, again, are what is making any user, any marketing person, salesperson, a leasing agent, property manager, any of them be able to take their own photos comfortably and then still end up with the quality that they would expect from a photographer at the end at 75 cents per photo. That's right.
That's amazing. How many photos have you processed?
Oof, it is a few millions at this point.
A few millions. Wow. Yeah. So you're definitely a proven expert.
Yeah. We have models that are running all day, all night in the background. And we do this, as I said, globally for a variety of different kind of real estate businesses. Builders are definitely one, and property managers, some of the listing platforms, even international listing platforms. So we do that globally, and because of that, our models have both incredibly fast processing power, but we also have the ability to, as I was describing earlier, adjust the ultimate stylistic features of the photo to match the preferences of specific customers. So both of those are our expertise here. Do it fast, but also match what the user likes. Right.
And all this is stored, I assume, in the cloud that is easily accessible from different places.
Yeah. So we have we have our AI powered enhancement and virtual staging solution, and then they are kind of hosted by our photo management platform. So it's basically like a Google Drive, but for home pictures, for property photos. That's what we have. They are therefore hosted on our platform, and we are now even building solutions that will make it possible for our customers to share the photos directly from our platform with their prospective home buyers. So we want to streamline the process and really position us as the solution that helps our customers manage the entire life cycle of a photo, from capture all the way to distribution.
Yes, that's really important, because so many builders out there have great photos that they've collected over the years of homes that they've built, homes under construction, specs that they've built, but the photos are all over the place. And so what a great way to organize everything. And then imagine if you have that one model that's been decorated, that you have professionally done photos of, and then as you build same model, but with different variation, different options, you as a sales rep, you can just go out in the field, take a photo of, say, kitchen with the morning room versus kitchen with no morning room, and then send it through the processor, and voila, it comes out the same quality as your professional model. Now, what about furniture? You mentioned staging. If, say, in this example where I have a staged model home, would it be possible to match the furniture to look similar, but just a spec home? Or what are my choices of furniture? How do you decide on that?
Yeah, so we have a giant furniture library. Like, we have more than 20,000 unique items, and they can all be modified in terms of colors and textures. So we have incredible variety of selection there. And generally, the way our customers work with us is in two different ways. Either they tell us, hey, here are some photos of our model homes, right? So why don't you guys look at it, and then kind of use your models, use your own AI models to replicate this using the digital furniture that you have. So that's one way we can go about it. So we can definitely match the model home in that regard. And another way is, they can give us their preferences in terms of the furniture style. Hey, do we like modern, urban, coastal, traditional? We have all kinds. We have all kinds of color palettes. We have all kinds of art and decorative styles. So we are also able to gather their preferences and then reflect those preferences in the assets that are selected for each photo. And the great thing about, again, being able to do this using technology versus manually, because there are some other services out there that can do this manually, is consistency, and the design standard that you expect can be applied to each photo, right? So I'm not taking your photos and then sending it to a random person every single time, right? So we are doing all of this through models that allow us to do this consistently, which means once we learn your style, then we can reflect it again and again and again in any photo that you are going to send us. So therefore, matching what the customer wants is definitely one of the biggest ways we differentiate ourselves, and bringing the design that they like, the design that ultimately leads to high satisfaction is also how we differentiate us.
So how good can you make it look? Sometimes you see person on Instagram and then you see them in person, you're like, whoa, that's not even the same person. So am I going to be the same way? I see the photo, I'm like, oh my God, this house looks amazing. And I walk through and it's like, this is not the photo.
Yeah. I mean, there are some photos like that, even online. It's pretty easy to tell. They are like way too bright, So we don't do that. And the reason we don't do that is actually, I think, builders and other real estate businesses, they are very well aware of this problem, right? So if they are marketing something with photos that are not realistic,
Mhm.
then
Right.
that customer will ultimately come there, and the disappointment that the prospect feels is a pretty negative thing. I mean, it can even turn them off. So ultimately, because of that reason, our models are really trained to make these geometric and aesthetic corrections that aren't excessive, right? So we aren't going to try to take a room that is not getting any light and make it look like it has giant windows, right? So the corrections that are being made there aims to reflect a natural look, and this natural look generally tries to match like a morning hour from the perspective of how the sun comes into a home, right? So if the prospect visits on a dark, rainy day, obviously the property is going to look dark, but we try to give them a sense of, hey, this is what this property looks like if you were to visit it on a sunny day at 9 a.m. And similarly with internal lighting as well. I mean, there we have a lot more control, right? Sometimes they just put very horrible lighting before the home is being sold, but you can fix those things, and you can bring your own lighting and ultimately make the place lit in a far more desirable way. So those are the kind of corrections that we do with both our enhancement and virtual staging models. So try to match a realistic look is really our target here. Going beyond that is not desirable for anybody in the market, I think.
Mhm. Yeah, I'd be curious to see, like, once you have some data on, using your service versus not using the service, with response as far as engagement and clickability on those photos.
Yeah, I mean, we have these data points coming from our customers that run their analytics already, and yeah, there's an increase in click-through rates. There's an increase in even in conversion rates. And by conversion I mean some of our customers do actually rent out apartments directly through their platform, and they do see increase in booking rate. So that is supported by our data, and there has been other players in the market that has run similar statistics, and they have all shown the same thing. One, photos tend to be the most powerful instrument out there because they are very quick and they grab attention pretty quickly. And on top of that, yeah, if you have improved photo quality, then it leads to greater conversion rates. Like Airbnb has done their study, which has shown something similar. Other large industry players have proven that with their own studies in the past as well.
Very cool. So your services right now are to the photos, not the videos, right?
Yeah, so we are specifically photo focused at the moment. We might move into video. Video is ultimately millions of frames, or thousands of frames at the end, right? So there's definitely there are definitely applications that we might have for video, but at the moment we are specifically photo focused. And one reason for that is also, since you made the point about affordability at the beginning, Anya, like we want to be able to create a solution right now that's affordable, right? Like 75 cents per photo for enhancement, $18 per photo for virtual staging. I mean, we want to give people this kind of option that elevates their marketing still quite significantly. And when we do that for video, I guarantee it's going to be far more expensive.
Definitely going to go up.
But at the moment, it's definitely going to go up. So at the moment, affordability is where our focus is too.
We're both in the same industry in terms of the visualizations, but we're also coming at it from two different areas. One, we're in the unbuilt home, so there are no existing properties to take photos of. You're in the existing home space primarily. I do think there's a great opportunity here in that, when we model a home, we obviously would like to have it furnished. The builders like to see how it would look like furnished, the same with the home owners, home buyers. But there's a lot of cost and a lot of time associated with interior designing and furnishing that space, and then the cost associated with that. If there's an opportunity, this is something we can explore, is, if we don't furnish the space, and then for a nominal fee that you take that modeled space at a real scale and then virtually put on the virtual staging for rendering, it can kind of appeal to the needs of both cost and quality.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that there's a very strong fit there, because ultimately, yeah, like if you have the models already, right? That's great.
Yeah,
That's
we
even
have the
better for
models.
us.
You
Yeah,
have the furniture.
yeah.
It's like
I
peanut
mean,
butter and chocolate.
yeah, because the biggest thing that we do when we get a photo is actually from a photo, the first step is creating a model, right? So
Right.
that is how we are able to add the furniture. So if you have the model, you are saving us time, if anything. So there's definitely a strong opportunity there that I'm excited about as well, John.
Mhm. And so we talked about inside the home. What about exteriors? Do you do exterior shots? How, like maybe shots of communities? Like what does it all include?
You do the
Yeah,
skies,
so
right? The sky's the limit. You can see, you can change the skies.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, so we had fun over the weekends before 4th of July. We were like, hey guys, like what if we just took some photos of city skylines and we just replace the sky with fireworks, like a night sky with fireworks. So that's a service that we do quite a lot. Basically, it's called sky replacement. And if, for instance, a customer takes an exterior photo and for some reason, it's again on a cloudy day or it's later in the day, we are able to change that. So the editing for interiors and exteriors are different in the sense that in the exteriors, contrast is far more important, vibrance is important. You have a lot of natural elements there, right? You have grass and trees and flowers and the sky, and and there's a lot of light as well. So contrast and vibrance definitely become far more important. But we have separate set of models designed for exteriors, both for enhancement but also for sky replacement and ultimately for virtual staging as well. We do patio staging. We do all kinds of things with the exterior shots.
We used to do this thing a decade ago, so I'm not trying to get back into this, but one of the biggest things that we had from real estate agents and builders was to photo edit out the dumpsters and the,
Oh
the ugly plants
yeah.
and stuff like that. Is that something you're getting into, or is that something you're staying away from?
No, we are getting into that. So one very common request that we get is open toilet seats. So for some
Oh
reason
my
in the
gosh.
photos, toilet seats are left open before the photos are taken, and a lot of people are frustrated about it because it doesn't look nice to have a
Right.
toilet photo with
It's
open seats. So
uninviting.
it's not inviting.
Or
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
little too inviting.
Too inviting in an
Maybe too
uninviting
inviting.
way.
So I mean, we have been for a while fixing things like that, fixing extra clutter, and our processes are improving even to a level now where we can take furnished photos and replace the furniture in them with a totally new set of furniture. So that is something that we are getting into. That's obviously a more challenging and complicated process compared to regular virtual staging. But we do realize that this is a huge need for a certain group of people, perhaps not as much for builders, maybe. I mean, for builders, I can imagine maybe if the home is not completed yet fully, or if you have one kind of countertop, but you want to also show, hey, different kinds of countertops or cabinets are possible here. That's definitely something that we will be able to do. But overall, this clutter removal or dumpster removal is definitely a big thing.
Right. How about since you're into analytics, and this is another goal of mine long term, is image recognition.
Yes.
Can you start to teach your machine learning that this is a 2-car garage, this is siding, this is brick, things like that?
Yeah. So we already do some of that. Basically, we can already, and that's what I meant when I said, hey, like we have models that can process information from photos. They can basically detect things like, hey, this is kitchen, and there are microwave.
Kitchen.
There's a microwave oven. There's a laundry machine. So those detections are possible. We can now detect like wood flooring and tile and things like that. So those models are getting more and more sophisticated. Basically, as we speak, they get trained again and again. So yeah, like there's definitely interest in terms of both being able to tell the material and also tell more about the condition. Some of that condition stuff is perhaps more for used home sales as opposed to new home sales, I imagine. But that is definitely there's definitely a lot of interest in that.
Well, with your multi-million photos in your library, and if you actually can tag them with image recognition, now you have a searchable library that I want examples of, quartz countertops.
Right.
And it pulls all those up.
Yeah, exactly. So like one way, as I said, we have this Google Drive for property photos, and the whole point of it is when the photos come into the platform, we tag them, right? We label them
Right.
with all this information. So later on, maybe you have a prospect and they're asking about, hey, I want to see the pool. You can just search for the pool and the pool's photo is going to come up. Or they are looking for a home that has a particular kind of shower or particular kind of countertop. It is very easy to search for it and then find the pictures, both find the visuals, but also locate the property that has those features, right? So this library thing is exactly where our photo management solution is going.
Yes, I think, image enhancement is a great technology, and I think it's a very valuable time and convenience for real estate agents and non-photographer, but be able to tag all the characteristics and have it searchable is a huge value add for real estate agents and builders, because now people can find the products that they offer with just a click of a button.
Exactly. Agreed.
Well, Mert, as we wrap things up here, are there any last thoughts that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I mean, I think I just want to highlight again that Oda Studio has been built over years with the goal of creating an affordable, accessible visual marketing solution that helps builders and other real estate players create personalized images that they can use in their photos. So we are ready to help. Our models are running, as I said, all day, all night, and we will be excited to help builders out there, their sales teams, marketing teams. If they are interested in this solution, they should check us out for sure.
So how does somebody check you out? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so they should, my recommendation would be to, go to our website. It is studio.odaportal.com, or you can just Google Oda Studio and just try with some photos. Actually, it just takes like 30 seconds to create an account and start uploading some photos. We give the first several photos for free, so it's pretty easy to check things out, test the system, and see if you like it. So my recommendation is, since we are a visual solution, rather than reading about us, go into our platform and test it with a few photos.
See for yourself.
See the results. Exactly, see it for yourself.
Absolutely. Well, I'll be sure to link that in the show notes, so you guys make sure to go out and check it out. Load in your ugliest photo and see.
Your ugliest.
Ugliest, absolutely. Okay. Join our ugly photo library as well. We get a lot of those. Yes, definitely do that.
Very cool. Well, Mert, it was a pleasure to have you on. I'm excited we were able to catch up and not only meet in person at PCBC, but also do a follow-up show. And we hope to have you back on the show in a couple of years with the new update as to what you guys are up to now.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure seeing you again. And thank you so much to both of you.
Thank you. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.